I mean, survival is my legacy.
Sharon, what did you see in Ozzy? Why did you want to manage this out-of-control rocker?
It's a disease that not only hurts the person that has the disease, but it hurts the family. It hurts people who love.
How bad did it get?
Oh, I mean, how bad, bad. I was arrested for attempted murder of Sharon. I had no idea. I didn't know what they were talking about.
Can we just stop there? Attempted murder of your wife.
Because once you see how deep Sharon's devotion went, you'll never look at Till Death Do Us Part the same way again.
He's got his underpants on. I thought he was ready for bed, and suddenly he just said, "We've made a decision." And I'm like, "We've?" Yes, and you've got to die. And I'm like...
It began in London, 1970. A young man named Ozzy Osbourne, just 21, had a voice that sounded like thunder trapped in a cathedral. Years later, after Ozzy was fired from Black Sabbath for spiraling drug abuse,
Heaven.
by 1979, Ozzy was gone, lost in a haze of cocaine, booze, and despair. He was broke, homeless, and written off as a washed-up addict. But Sharon saw something no one else did. She left her father's company, cut all ties with his empire, and took on Ozzy herself.
So I was 18 when I first met him.
It was madness. Everyone said, "He'll ruin you," but she didn't care. She booked his gigs, she pushed him to record again, and together they created Blizzard of Oz, a comeback that turned him into a solo legend. But while the world saw a resurrection, what was happening behind closed doors was something far darker.
Statements about being sober. And what I can really say is, sobriety sucks.
They fell in love like a storm, fast, dangerous, and impossible to control.
Sharon! Sharon! Sharon!
To outsiders, they were rock royalty, the wild prince and his fearless queen. But their private life was a battlefield. Drugs, money, fame, and violence turned their love into an addiction of its own, and that addiction would soon show its most terrifying face.
The latest on Sharon and Ozzy Osbourne and whether they are really calling it quits after more than 30 years of marriage.
August 1989, Buckinghamshire, England. Ozzy was high, a dangerous mix of vodka, pills, and rage. Sharon was at home, used to the mood swings, but that night was different. Hours passed in silence, until Ozzy turned to her and said, "We've come to a decision that you've got to die." He lunged at her, hands wrapping around her throat.
And so what did he do then?
He lunged on me and, got me down to the floor and started strangling me.
How close did it get?
Pretty damn close.
Sharon fought back, gasping for air, until her fingers found a panic button she'd secretly installed. Security rushed in. Ozzy was arrested and charged with attempted murder.
You've lived through an attempted murder, you've lived through affairs, you've lived through domestic violence at other times, chronic alcoholism. Why did you stay?
You might think that was the end, but here's the first sign of Sharon's obsession. She dropped the charges. She said later, "I loved him more than I hated what he'd done." That's not love anymore. That's devotion turned dangerous. Ozzy spent 6 months in rehab. Sharon considered leaving for good, but she couldn't. The idea of life without him terrified her more than what he'd done. So when he came home, she forgave him.
With the way I'd been brought up, Ozzy was quite normal to me. I didn't think he was extreme in any way, and I loved him.
But has the domestic violence stopped?
Oh, absolutely.
Now I beat the shit out of him.
The world called her crazy. She called it love. The 1990s came. Ozzy was sober, sort of. His fame returned. And then in 2002, the Osbournes hit TV. For millions, they were the lovable, foul-mouthed family next door. People laughed at their chaos, not realizing it was real.
And under her guidance, the crowds continued to love Ozzy as a solo act.
The pain, the fights, the bruises. Behind every joke, Sharon was holding the pieces together again. But wait, it gets darker.
We had fabulous fights. Our fights were famous for a while. There was one time, do you remember when I threw that bottle at you?
No, I threw the bottle at you.
No, I threw the bottle at you, at the back of your head.
I threw the bottle at you. Oh, yeah.
Sharon once admitted in an interview, "We'd beat the skit out of each other." This wasn't metaphorical. Their fights were brutal, emotional, sometimes physical. She said it like a confession and a badge of survival. To her, it wasn't abuse, it was war. And in war, she refused to surrender. That's the second sign of her obsession. She normalized their destruction.
And this too shall pass. Otherwise, my husband will be taken to hospital to get my foot removed from his.
By 2016, they had been married 34 years. They had survived addiction, violence, and public humiliation. But the one thing Sharon couldn't survive was betrayal. When news broke that Ozzy was having an affair with a hairstylist, she walked out. For weeks, tabloids called it the final breakup.
Of my life. Because this is like getting to the last chapter of this book.
You and Ozzy have gone up and down, like all of us do in our relationships. But why do you feel like it's so different this time?
And again, Sharon came back. You know what she said? Because I love him, because I've invested my whole life in him. That's sign number 3.
That's nice. So you worked it out, obviously. You talked to him about it, you guys decided, okay, it's fine.
It wasn't as easy as that.
No.
But we worked it out after I got him glasses.
Love turned into identity. Without Ozzy, there was no Sharon. But there's one moment that shows just how far Sharon's obsession truly went. In 2024, during a live show in London, she revealed something chilling. After discovering yet another affair years earlier, she had attempted to take her own life. She said, "I took pills. I didn't want to live without him. That's not love. That's entrapment of the soul." And still she stayed. In 2019, Ozzy was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease. His body began to fail him. And once again, Sharon became his caretaker, not just his wife, but his nurse, his shield, his world. She told interviewers, "When I look at him, I see the man I fell in love with. I see him through the pain." As his health declined, she barely left his side. And then on July 22, 2025, Ozzy Osbourne, the Prince of Darkness, took his final bow.
Sharon is like my soulmate. Sometimes I love her, sometimes I don't love her, sometimes I'm angry with her. Sometimes I'm crazy about her. Sometimes I'm very jealous of her. Sometimes I want to fucking kill her. But through it all, at the end of the day, I love her more than anything in the world. Put it this way, I couldn't live without her. I don't want to live without her. And my love for her now is bigger than it ever has been.
In her first statement after his death, Sharon wrote, "He was the love of my life, the chaos of my life, and my life's greatest purpose." Even in death, her identity remained tied to him. That's sign number 5, obsession that outlives the person. To the end, she wasn't just his wife, she was his keeper, his savior, and his shadow. Looking back, Ozzy and Sharon's story isn't a fairy tale. It's a tragedy dressed as romance, a reminder that love can be both the cure and the curse. Without Sharon, Ozzy might never have survived his demons, but with her, he lived in a constant battle between redemption and relapse. They changed what it meant to be a couple in the public eye, raw, broken, real. They showed the world that sometimes love doesn't heal, it just endures. So what do you call a love that destroys and saves at the same time? Maybe it's obsession, maybe it's fate, or maybe it's the kind of love that only people like Ozzy and Sharon could survive. Because when the curtain fell and the music faded, Sharon didn't say goodbye. She whispered the words only someone truly haunted could say. "It's not over. I'll see you on the other side."